So we're faced with a brand new meta in Overwatch. It's the 2-2-2, it's the role lock, but the question is, who are the winners and the losers? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by the magnificent Josh. Hello, Josh. Hello.
Hello. We're all the winners. We have roll queue. We have 2-2-2. We're winners. We're all winners.
Everybody wins. Oh,
Everybody's
it's so
a
beautiful.
winner, baby.
Okay, what we're going to do this video is talk about the winners and the losers. Who is going to win big? Who's going to, well, kind of fade away? And we're just going to go through all of the hero roster because this is going to be quite interesting because remember, we've got a bunch of changes. Now, you guys are playing on live mostly, but we're going to take into consideration the current balance patch on the PTR and also the fact that, well, 2-2-2 is on the PTR. And come September the 1st, the game will be radically different because everybody will be playing 2-2-2. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about how awesome 2-2-2 is in this video, but take it from me, it literally will save the game. Okay, right, let's get stuck into this. Josh, 2-2-2, what are we looking at meta-wise?
Meta-wise, we're looking at 2-2-2, but at the moment, we're not seeing like too much changes in tanks in particular. I think that's a good place for us to start. You know, the current winners in the current live patch meta is Orisa and Roadhog, and I don't really see that changing too much with 2-2-2. Like, they're just a very strong combo working with each other. They get the job done, and I think, like, with the increased potential on damage as well coming out, like Reinhardt in particular could also struggle a little bit. So like Orisa, I think, isn't going anywhere. So if you're a tank main, like picking up Orisa, and like this is one of the weird things with 2-2-2 as well, is when you queue for tank, you queue for tank. Like you don't queue for main tank and off tank, you queue for tank. So if you are queuing into that tank thing, I think like Orisa is almost like my must learn at current meta.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, obviously we've got Sigma, and I've seen a bunch of crazy double barrier stuff going on the PTR. If that'll make it to light, I don't know. I mean, the Roadhog Orisa combo is so powerful. It's a difficult one to sort of, well, push. I mean, you got things like Zarya and Sigma work okay with each other, and Sigma actually has got a ton of synergy with D.Va as well, especially with the ultimate usage. And even Hammond, he's quite good with Hammond when you drop his ulti and then Hammond comes in with his ulti. But yeah, Orisa is a winner. She will always be a winner until something happens to heavily nerf her. She is a winner, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're an Orisa player, you're going to be okay. So let's talk about D.Va. What do we think about D.Va? Where is she right now?
I think she's like struggling a little bit more than, you know, she kind of ever has. I mean, D.Va has had like the dubious honor of being pretty much the star player of every meta that's ever existed since she's been added to the game. Like, she's always been pretty good. So she's kind of had nothing but nerfs and nerfs and nerfs and nerfs. And now we're kind of hitting the point where it feels like her effectiveness is starting to dip. Now, if the meta swings dramatically towards like traces and things like that, then maybe D.Va can start creeping away back in. Maybe then you'll see like the Orisas start to vanish. But as it is right now, I think D.Va's, she's not bad. She's not terrible. Like, it'll be nice to have one. But it's not like, oh, you must have D.Va. D.Va is the best. She's the number one star player of your team. She's just kind of, she's good, but she's not great.
She's almost kind of the biggest casualty of the 2-2-2 in the tank department, really, because it's difficult kind of, I guess, finding a reason to put her in instead of the Hog and Orisa. But yeah, like you said, if Tracer does come back, then yeah, maybe for defense matrix peel and stuff like that, we might see her. It's a hard one, but she's still kind of okay. It's like I said with Sigma, she does synergize quite well with him. So if in a world where Sigma is the go-to tank, well, she works quite well with Sigma because it's literally a guaranteed team wipe. When Sigma pops his ulti and you just throw the bomb in below, it's good night, Vienna. Anyway, let's move on to Reinhardt because this is an interesting one. So Ryan buffed on the PTR. He's got his brand new passive ability. I feel like Ryan is making a little bit of a comeback.
He's definitely less miserable than he was. Let's put it that way.
The stun resist helps him. Well, the knockback resist helps him quite a bit.
Yeah, you're just getting like boosted around like so much
planted.
less. It's just like a lot less aggravating. But he still has the problem where once that barrier is gone, it's gone. And because people are playing Hog and Orisa, like barrier damage has kind of become the thing. And I think unless he has a way of dealing with that somehow, he's going to struggle. So sure, Rein Zarya is still, it's okay, but when you're walking into, you know, Hog Orisa, you just feel so ruined, I guess, is sort of where I'm going. Like, it's at least you're not walking into Hog Orisa D.Va anymore, which just destroys tanks. Like, tanks are generally very good at doing a lot of damage to other tanks. So now that people are going to be playing more DPS, and now that like Hanzo, he's lost one of his storm arrows. That's a whole extra 70 health on your barrier.
Well,
like
this
that
is the
might
other thing
help
we need
a little
to think
bit.
about, right? you talk about barriers getting destroyed. Yeah, you've got an Orisa and a Hog, but you've probably got a Hanzo as well. So your barrier is going to be insta-deleted. I mean, in terms of winning and losing, I think Reinhardt kind of wins a little bit. It isn't a massive win. He doesn't just go straight back to becoming the go-to tank because that's Orisa. And yeah. All right, let's move on to Hog. So we kind of touched Hog a little bit. Touched on him. That sounds wrong. Yeah. We touched on Hog a little bit. We really enjoyed it. And so did Hog. No, we haven't touched him, ladies and gentlemen. He just works really well with Orisa. So you get Hog.
Yeah, like the
that's all there is to it, really.
Yeah, it's pretty
simplistic way of explaining it, but it is.
Because you can't really play him with anyone else because he's not really tanky enough. And this is he is kind of almost a casualty of 2-2-2 in that way, where he slots really nicely in. Instead of a DPS, you can kind of play him as like a mobile DPS sort of thing that just runs around and annoys people. But now that you have 2-2-2, well, if you're playing Reinhardt, if you're playing Sigma, if you're playing Winston or Wrecking Ball, the Roadhog might feel a little bit lost. He might just sort of be a big spongy ball that everyone shoots and gets free ultimates out of. So he might need something perhaps on the side, but because Orisa Hog is so strong, like if they buffed Roadhog now, oh my god, everyone would go insane.
Lord.
So it's like, I think you just leave him alone at the moment and just see where it lands, but maybe in the future he might need something that makes him feel more like a tank and less like a DPS.
Yeah, let's just move on to Sigma. So Hog wins because Orisa wins. Sigma, this is a difficult one because Sigma obviously is brand new. We really don't know what he's going to do to the meta. But what I will say is because we do have role lock on PTR and the games are competitive, you can actually learn a hell of a lot more than you could in the past. In fact, the only time you could really pick up anything in terms of meta swings with new heroes in the past would be through pro scrims on PTR. But now you kind of get more of a glimpse of kind of the power of the heroes. I mean, for Sigma, this is an entire other video, but I don't entirely think he's a main tank per se. He's sort of like, he seems to be very map dependent as well. He can do a ton of damage and he's got a lot of utility, but I can't see him replacing an Orisa or even replacing a Reinhardt.
I agree.
I think that's a hard sell. I think that is a really, really hard sell.
I think he works...
I think in my head,
yeah.
I kind of see him as like, you take him with the Orisa, you take him with the Reinhardt, but then that makes me a bit sad because I like him with a Hammond, I like him with a D.Va because he really works super well with their ultimates.
I think it works really well when you have like small areas to play around in. Stuff like Eichenwald third point, like I played a match on Eichenwald as Sigma. I had a great time on third point. I was miserable on second because it's so big, it's so open, there's so many ways around that you put out your little piddly barrier and you just still feel completely vulnerable. So that's where you like really start missing the Orisa, the Reinhardts, like the more mobile barriers, the bigger barriers. But when you're in those smaller areas, like Lijiang Control Center as well as another good example, where he can sort of bounce his projectiles around corners, he can control those little spaces and those tight little areas, he can get really high value with his ultimate, that's where he shines. And he can kind of be a main tank there, but he can kind of play a good off tank and like shielding high ground and stuff like that with stuff like an Orisa or a Reinhardt and give you that second barrier that you can kind of deploy as needed.
So I think he's a bit of an unknown right now, but he's super fun to play. But so yeah, Blizzard have won with the design of the hero, I guess, because he's fun to play. But where he fits in the meta, we're gonna have to wait and see. All right, Winston, talk to me about Winston.
I think he wins because
I think he does. Yeah,
dive can come back now. You can play Genji Tracer and not have to worry about diving into goats. Like you can actually play and know that they're going to have some supports and some DPS. Perhaps you can dive. So he's actually like a good option. He's available to do the things he's meant to do, to be this mobile, annoying tank and get into the backline and disrupt people. And I think he wins ultimately here.
Yeah, he does. I agree. Totally agree with that. So Hammond, what about Hammond? I think Hammond is kind of, I think he's still sort of in the slot he was before in a way. Like, I think he wins a little bit because, yeah, you can kind of use him in dive, I guess. But Hammond is, well, I guess it's always going to be Hammond. There are certain points where you need a Hammond. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like Hammond, to me, he was always the choice when like no one wanted to play main tank and you were just like, sod it, I'll play main tank and lock in Hammond because we have 3 DPS. So I don't know if he necessarily wins because you don't have 3 DPS anymore. Instead, you would have a Roadhog or a D.Va or a Zarya. And then it gets a bit weird, or maybe a Winston. And then it's like, well, what does he do then? Is he going to have that same level of effectiveness? So it's similar to like Sigma. I don't know where he's going to land. I don't know where he's going to... Well, he's probably going to land on your team because that's what he does. But
hopefully, yeah.
I don't know where he's going to be.
If he's on my team, he'll land off the map. Yeah, I mean, if Sigma Hammond becomes a thing, maybe. We get Hammond Winston dive. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I love that combo, the Sigma balls.
Sigma balls. Oh, dear. I think I'm going to just leave this call. That is so bad. All right then, Zarya. Talk to me about Zarya. So Zarya, before we get into it, she wins on PTR straight away because she's actually had quite a massive buff with the damage that she does when she's like tracking targets. It's more damage, so she feels much nice to play. It's easier to do more damage with her, which is cool. But yeah, in terms of her winning, she suffers because of the Orisa Hog is so powerful. You don't really want a Zarya. Zarya does terrible damage to a barrier unless she's got super high charge, and the bubbles are kind of pointless because Orisa's behind her.
I did watch a really good pro, like, because I've just come off of like 3 hours of doing pro VOD reviews. I actually was like blown away by watching some pros do this, where to counter the Hog Risa, they had a Risa Zarya, which in my mind was like, what the hell are they doing? But every single time they got halted and pulled up, they just used the barriers, blocked all the damage, absorbed all the damage that was being fired at them, and then they could just use the Zarya for pressure. But that's like very niche, very niche. And
that's something we're never going to see on ladder, I don't think.
Because you need the enemy team to you need your team to focus on shooting into the balls, and if the team doesn't do that, then Zarya just gets nothing. So I think she's just like, she's more suffering from the meta and less from the 2-2-2 right now.
What about Sigma though? Sigma can eat Halt.
Well, if they're shooting it above you, you're not going to eat it. Like, you can.
I don't know.
He can eat the hook though. He can block the hook. That's the big thing.
He can block the hook. Yeah.
So if he gets pulled, he blocks the hook.
It.
Yeah.
Cool.
That might be good.
Okay, let's move on to the damage heroes. Now, Ashe, talk to me about Ashe.
I love Ashe. I love her design. I adore her, but she's just outshone by McCree. I know.
And they've tried to help her, haven't they, with a faster reload, but it's not enough, is it? It just isn't enough.
McCree's still just so good. He's so very good. Ashe is okay. She's kind of helped a little by 2-2-2 because you don't have to worry about, like, Ashe versus Goats was just terrible. You just didn't do enough damage. You had to like land every shot as a headshot to get even slight value. So she's winning in that regard. But
the issue with her is she's probably going up against the Widow on the enemy team, and she's going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
That's, If you're going to play Ashe, guys, just play Widow or McCree, depending on the map. She loses. All right, Bastion. I'm just going to quickly go over Bastion. Bastion is always going to be Bastion. He's going to be... maybe he loses a little bit because Bunker won't be as good, but you can still bust him out on Route 66, stick him on the payload. That's always going to be a viable strategy. Yeah, Bastion, whatever. Doomfist. Right, Doomfist, he wins. Doomfist wins because he's extremely good against the latest hero in the game. Like, very good. In fact, he is the absolute top tier counter for Sigma. He just destroys him.
It makes sense. He's the boss, right? That's why he's in charge. Clearly,
true.
Like it's also a winner because there's just going to be like more heroes that are going to have 200 to 250 hit points on the map. He's not going to be jumping into 3 tanks and 3 supports, or most of which will be very evasive. So he wins in the fact that you might also have more targets available to actually go and do what he does.
Yeah.
So I think Doomfist's going to be strong.
I agree. Genji, Genji's coming back. Tell me about it. He's coming back, isn't he? He's coming back.
He's coming. I mean, he was already kind of back. Like, I was like an Ana main, like Genjis were kind of everywhere, and that meant I gained a lot of SR because I just have to put an Ana boost on him and you win the game. So again, same as Doomfist, right? There's 200 hit point heroes are going to be around a lot more, so blades are going to be more effective. He has more things to assassinate. He's not just walking into a wall of tanks. Good for Genji.
Yeah, really good. Right, okay, Hanzo. So Hanzo, the meta probably in terms of DPS as soon as this season kicks off, or the next season kicks off. September the first season kicks off. Well, actually, I guess the beta before that kicks off. But Hanzo Widow is extremely strong. If your Widow can aim, that's always the caveat here. Hanzo doesn't need to aim because he can just spam his arrows. Now, as Josh alluded to earlier on in the video, Hanzo has been nerfed on the PTR, so you might be thinking, oh well, Hanzo's his DPS is gone.
He's dead.
So they just give him one less arrow in storm arrows. So yeah, it's still stupid. He's extremely good at destroying barriers. He's extremely good at destroying people when he doesn't mean to destroy people. He's Hanzo. And he's probably going nowhere.
Yep. He's going to be.
I've got a golden bow, so I'm happy with that.
Oh no!
Right, Junkrat. Tell me about Junkrat.
Hanzo exists. Why would you ever play Junkrat? Like that's literally that's unfortunately that's my thought. And I think he does suffer because again, there's going to be fewer tanks. There's going to be more snipers going on higher ground. There's going to be more evasive dive characters jumping around all over the place. Junkrat likes shooting into big clumps of people all stacked up on top of one another, doing tons of barrier damage, and you can kind of do that to an Orisa, but Hanzo's right there. He does more barrier damage. He's got a better ultimate. He's extremely good. The only saving grace for Junkrat is you can use Riptire to counter Nanoblade, so if Genji becomes super meta, maybe that's a way for him to come in, but I think Junkrat's kind of in a sad state at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. You're probably just playing Mei anyway. Mei's coming back. Anyway, let's move on. So, McCree. We don't really need to say anything about McCree. In fact, I'll tell you about McCree. He's super OP, an amazing hit scan. He's been buffed into the absolute stratosphere. And, yeah, just if you can aim, play McCree, and you'll win the game. In fact, if Genji comes back, McCree could be a nice little answer to him. And if Tracer comes back as well, McCree would be a nice little answer to that. That sums up McCree. Do you think Blizzard will nerf him, actually? I guess that's a good question.
I kind of hope so. Like, I like changes that push towards higher skill caps in the game. At the moment, McCree has no punishment for missing. Like, you just hold left mouse button and you fire 1,000,000 bullets a second. It's crazy.
I don't like the feel of it. It sounds weird, but I sort of preferred the old McCree. It felt more like you had more weight, more gravitas to your shots. It was like, bang! This is just like... I don't know, it's weird. I'm still not kind of used to it, but I still like playing McCree. Anyway, Mei. I think Mei is a bit of a winner.
Oh yes, with the especially after watching the pros play, she's one of the few counters apparently to Hog Risa. You can use her walls very effectively to block some of the Halt Hook combos. You can use it to assist Halt Hook combos as well. So she gets a lot of benefits from that. She also in 222 in general, she's been buffed steadily over time, where now she's actually pretty good. Like, she was already kind of okay, and now she's getting to the period where she has value in a team, especially if the main knows how to put walls up and control space like that. She can do a lot. Like, she's
also a bit of a tanky DPS as well, isn't she? She almost gives us 3 tanks in a way.
And then you play Soldier and you get 3 healers, and then you get goats by the back door.
Backdoor goats, that's not what you want, ladies and gentlemen. I remember back in the past when you'd see a lot of Mei on Control Center on Li Shang.
Yes.
At the pro level, anyway. You see a lot of it there. Yeah.
Just try and trap out Reinhardt. You can do the same, trap out Arisas, lift Bastions, trap Halt Hook combos. There's all sorts of cool things you can do with Mei. I think she's in a good spot at the moment. But there's another hero that a dear friend of ours plays quite a lot. So she's always in our mind.
Oh,
Farah. Tell me about Farah.
And I've been ripping into him about Farah. Yeah, so, okay, well, I mean, firstly, the latest hero into the game has quite a good ability in which he can throw his barrier into the face of a Farah. He can also eat Farah's concussion blast, oh dear, and he can also eat most of her ultimate if he's not throwing his barrier into her face to kill her with her own ultimate. We've also got a super buff McCree who will delete Farah from the sky. We've got a buffed Ashe who will delete Farah from the sky. We've got a Widowmaker who will delete Farah from the sky, and we've got Hanzo who probably just would do the same as well. And an Orisa is a fairly good at harassing away a Farah. So Farah is literally the worst DPS in the game, unless you've got very niche specific scenarios. If you've got a pharmacy, maybe you can make it work, but it's so difficult to make Farah work. I think Farah needs something you know what I want Farah to be reworked. I want Farah to have some sort of, imagine if she could I'm going to go absolute next level here. Imagine if she could mess up the fuel mixture in a jet and it created smoke or something, you know what I mean? That'd be cool as hell. I don't know how that would help her, but it would do something to make it different. It's sad as hell. There are so many counters to this hero in the game.
I think you're being harsh with worst DPS in the game because Junkrat exists and kind of Ashe is in the state that she's in.
Yeah, but Junkrat, we spoke about Eichenwald. Well, you spoke about Eichenwald third point. Junkrat's okay there.
Yeah, Dorado Farah is okay. There's places where she can kind of work, I think, but yeah, I think with the hit scan meta as it is, hit scans have just been buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed. You have to be really good at Farah, and I think the best way to sum up Farah is you have to invest a lot to probably get not as much gain as if you just picked McCree or Hanzo.
This is the point. Val, I think he's low master. Val used to be like 4.3k. Now he's not. I mean, that kind of says it all. And he's a really good Farah player. You're fighting against the odds, and it's sad. It really is sad. I think Blizzard need to do something to it. Talk to me about Reaper then, because Reaper very niche, but
Reaper's become a meme on my stream. Every single time a pro plays Reaper, I now have the Reaper tuber, which is a hilarious video clip. Maybe I'll send you the sound file. Maybe it'll get ad blocked. I don't know. Probably not, actually, because my videos don't. Anyway, Reaper, he does one thing extremely well, and then the moment the defense matrix enters the game, or he can't get to the enemy team, he just stops functioning. So Reaper's he's a bit pub stompy. He's very good at low levels. He's very good at blowing up tanks that just run into him. If he can do that, if you get him on the point, he's great. But he just does that one thing so well, and because McCree's been buffed out the wazoo and does so much damage now, I don't think you need Reaper anymore.
Yeah, it's a hard sell. I mean, at the lower levels, you get the Reaper that just destroys everybody, but all you need to do right now, guys, is if you are playing, say, Hog, you just need to swap to a a diva or even a Sigma and just go and eat his damage. It's like, get away. You can deal with him quite easily. But it's just having the sort of the foresight to deal with him, because if you just let him do his own thing, he will punish you. It's kind of like Moira in a way, where they heavily punish lower ranks. Anyway, let's move on. So, and also because with 222 there's less tanks, there's less things for him to kill, which is unlucky for Reaper. Talk to me about Soldier then. Soldier has always been a favourite of mine. But
yeah, I'm going to turn it around at you, because you're the Soldier main out of both of us. So, like, what are your thoughts on Soldier at the moment? Where is he? How's he doing?
I like playing Soldier when I get the urge to play Soldier. Like, I'm not going to play Soldier because I can play McCree. So, I mean, honestly, hand over heart, the only time I pick a Soldier is if I think the healers are not healing me and I'm playing McCree and I'm whining about healing. I'll just play Soldier because at least I can heal myself then. Things like on Numbani, first point defense, Soldier's okay there because you can reposition fast. Whereas with the McCree, you're sort of in one place, and if the enemy team are rolling dive, they're probably going to jump onto you, and then you're kind of screwed as McCree unless somebody decides to save you on your team. He has been buffed recently as well, remember, so he does more damage now, Soldier, but he's just sort of like a comfort pick for me. I don't think I would recommend to people go and play Soldier if you wanted hit scan. I'm straight up saying Widow or McCree because there's no real contest. The kill potential on McCree is insane. Widow, obviously, if you hit the shots, is insane. Soldier, I mean, I guess it's okay for people starting out as hit scan, but you can make him work. Like, he's not terrible. You can make him work. And I guess with 222, there's less things to sort of block your tac visor.
Yeah. I think everything being squishier will help Soldier a little bit. And, like,
yeah,
you're not shooting into goats anymore, which will just absorb everything without, like, and just sort of go, like I care, and then run over you at least. So
he wins a little bit. Like,
yeah.
He's okay. He's okay. Well, you talk to me about Sombra then, Josh, because I know you like a bit of Sombra.
I do love a bit of Sombra. She is fantastic. She's incredible. She's overpowered as hell. If you can play her, she is probably one of the best heroes, if not the best hero in the game at the moment. But if you can't play her, then you might just not do anything all game. She's very volatile like that, but with 222 coming in, she's kind of only getting stronger, especially because people are still playing Hog Risa. That only benefits her because she has an easy thing to build ult off. You have always got a good EMP target. Hacking Roadhog is one of the funniest things on the planet, and yeah, I think she's just in a very strong place right now. But I will say, like, on ladder and in competitive, she can be very, like, if you aren't willing to communicate or you're not confident in your communication, you might want to avoid her in that regard.
Yeah, I agree. So Symmetra. So she's had a change on the PTR where her teleporter lasts forever unless it's destroyed, and it's got a bit of a longer range on the deployment. I honestly, I can't really see her changing that much. She kind
it's
of
interesting.
stays.
I saw some Symmetra mains talking about, like, the change in the fact that you can't do, like, the Symmetra teleporter trick with the way you put all the turrets in it is apparently a little bit less effective and stuff like that. But what strikes me as being interesting is because you are playing Hog Risa and you can just have the teleporter somewhere permanently, like, you can very easily bounce between, like, 2 points on high ground if you have the teleporter in a clever place. So there might be some very clever things you can do with Symmetra, where you don't have to, like, panic and, like, think, oh god, Symmetra, please put the teleporter down, we need to move. You just know that there's going to be a teleporter there. So she's kind of in an odd place. With it being 222 as well, I don't, like, she benefited quite a lot from just, like, shooting into a wall of tanks. Like, that let her get to high charge, and then she just did tons and tons and tons of damage. So I don't really know enough. Like, Symmetra is one of those heroes that you play Symmetra and you know her, and I don't feel like I know her well enough to know, okay, no, this is going to be really good now, because, I don't know, her turrets can maybe kill a Genji, which I don't think is realistic.
She almost falls into the category of Sombra as well. Like, you need to be able to communicate if you're going to play Symmetra, because there's always the thing on Horizon Lunar Colony first point. You'll see the sim. They'll teleport straight onto the point. Yeah, I mean, it's a simple tactic, but if your team don't follow you or it's not executed properly, you end up with, like, the tanks and the Symmetra on the point and the Zen at the back, so you just kill the Zen. If you're on defense, it's like, well, okay, what the hell, that failed. So yeah, she is heavily communication-based, I think. But she does have an amazing ultimate, which is a lot of things. You know, people forget about that, how good that ultimate is, especially with Widow coming into the game. It's quite annoying.
And playing Ana. Like, as an Ana player, it's so frustrating. But there's the incredible...
Torby. Tell me about Torb.
Tell
me about Torb.
Jeff said ages ago in an interview with you, I think,
might
have been literally with you, that Torb is OP as heck. And I think Jeff is right. Like, it used to be like, oh, I'm trolling, I'm going to pick Torbjorn. Now I'm happy when people do that because they'll actually do things. I think Torb is, like, sleeper really good. And with 222, I think he only kind of gets better in some regards. Like the turret is going to be more effective against some of the heroes played, whereas in like Goats and 3-3 and stuff like that, it wasn't quite as strong. But
yeah,
Torb
it's a nice deterrent for Genji and Tracer.
He's versatile, I think is like the big thing with Torb. Like he's good against the squishies because the turret can kind of track them, and if he does hit them, he does a lot of damage. He's good against tanks because his right click deletes people. He's good against Roadhog because if Roadhog pulls you, you just activate the big fiery mode, Molten Core, and you just hold right mouse button, you delete him. He's good. He's actually really good.
Yeah, Torb's good, guys. He's a winner. Torb is absolutely a winner. Right then, Tracer. So, Tracer had the Pulse Bomb buff. So now she can blow people up. Well, she can blow a Bastion up with Pulse Bomb and do a considerable amount of damage to a tank, which is nice. But the thing with Tracer is now we're in this Wild West, how it used to be back in the good old days of I'm playing Zen and I've got a Tracer harassing the hell out of me and it's doing my brain in. Or you just get to watch players like Soon, and hopefully I'll be watching Profit whenever they're on next, playing a bit of lovely Tracer. She's coming back, Tracer.
Yes, and especially with like the Brig nerf as well, which we'll touch on later.
We'll get onto that.
200 hit point barrier.
It's a rework. Come on, it's a
rework. Yeah, it's not quite the barrier nerf on Brig.
It's
Tracer can do 240 damage, I think it is, with a single clip. So if you just hold left mouse button, it takes 1 second to kill a Brig barrier. Well, then Brig's suddenly a lot less scary. So you have a lot more targets to go for. Dive might be coming back in some ways. Tracer has an opening. Like she's definitely a winner in the 222 stakes.
Okay, this takes us to Widow. This is the final damage hero winner. As you probably guessed throughout this video, we've spoke quite a few times about her being super good. All right, then, there's a couple of reasons why she's super, super good. So, obviously, she can just instantly kill almost all of the hero cast. And with it being 222, you know there's going to... and the supports, you know there's going to be like at least 4 targets you can probably just kill if you headshot them, which is really, really strong. There's less blocky tank crap in your face blocking your shots. So, yeah, if you rotate well with Widow, you take up good positions, you can just farm, but you need to be able to aim. This is the thing I always come back to with Widow. They'll be saying in the comments below right now, well, Sty, Widow's always been good. Widow is like a really high tier Widow. It's just killed everybody. She's been super good. Yeah, but that's because they can aim. And she's a hero that really rewards aim. The issue she had before is when you've got a lot of tanky heroes out on the field, she can't really do anything. She's just firing into barriers, which is absolutely not what you want to be doing with Widow. You want to be trying to take out the supports, take out the other DPS. So suddenly, to use a soldier quote, I guess, it's a target-rich environment for Widow, but you need to be able to aim.
Yeah, like before, if you played Widow against Goats, for example, they might go like Winston D.Va, and then you just have those two chasing you. But if Winston D.Va are chasing you, well, that's their entire tank line. Congratulations, you've won as a DPS. Like, you can just grapple around, run away, and that they only have those 2 tanks that can kind of chase you. Maybe they go full dive. Maybe then you might want to swap off Widow and go McCree and then just delete everybody. But you have you know that there's going to be things you can shoot and you know that there's going to be targets available. She is 100% a winner. Be very, very surprised if she doesn't dominate our stage 4 in the finals. Looking good for your Spitfire lads.
Oh, yes. Big crap all season, then win the league. When did that happen? Anyway, moving on. Anna, supports. Anna.
Yeah, she's been strong throughout, and she's going to still be strong. I think as far as supports go, I think Anna has the highest pick rate and the highest win rate of all supports at the moment, or at least towards the higher level. She is very, very, very good at the moment, and she will only benefit from 222, where you have good targets to boost. Actually, she might not benefit a little bit because the old way you beat her with Goats, you could just run her down kind of, and now there might be just more of a fluid dive where you're dealing with Sombras and Tracers going into the backline and killing you, so that could be a bit trickier. But in general, Anna's still going to be very good. I think she's still the strongest support.
Yeah, I agree. So Baptiste, what do you think about Baptiste?
He's a weird one that I don't think people have quite figured out yet. He might actually have a really good place if the Orisa meta sticks around, because what I noticed, I'm naming this the Baptiste Bust, where what you do is you wait for the Orisa to drop a barrier, instantly ult, and then just fire everything through that ultimate, and the barrier just explodes, and Orisa just it's like Perfect Cell being deleted at the end of Dragon Ball Z. It's beautiful to behold. I know that reference just goes completely past you, but some people will understand it. It's a ton of damage to go through.
I signed up to Crunchyroll.
Good luck. Have fun watching Dragon Ball Z. There's 490
million episodes.
Yeah, and half of them are crap. So yeah. But Baptiste he's in an unusual place, but I do think he benefits at least from 222, where he, there's more DPS that can be shooting through his thing. His healing maybe it doesn't benefit from 222 because like goats, he's very good at healing goats. He's very good at healing big clumps of people.
But the thing, immortality field is a big thing for him. Like he can cancel Hanzo's ultimate, and he can ruin a Genji ult as well with his immortality field. Like it forces them to destroy the drone to do damage, and that actually that can do quite a lot. That can. I don't know, like, Baptiste is... I kind of see him as, like, a map-specific support. Like, he's a main support, obviously. If I was playing Ana, when do I swap to a Baptiste? Probably on Paris, first point. and yeah, I don't know. Maybe on, like, an Iconvolve first point, but then I'd still probably want to play Ana, just because I've got the range to... Well, I guess you've got the range to harass a Pharah or whatever, or anything in the distance with a Baptiste. But I don't know, like, Baptiste, I think he's okay. Is he a winner? He's okay. He's just okay, Baptiste. Somebody who isn't a winner, though, ladies and gentlemen, is Brig. Now, all right, this is early days on PTR, but Brig, to me, feels weird as hell. Her healing feels dead strange. Like the repair pack, or the armor pack, whatever the hell, it's repair pack, isn't it? It's weird. It feels like... This might just be me, but it feels like I'm not doing anything when I'm throwing it onto people. I feel really vulnerable when somebody comes after me because I'm used to old Brig just being literally invincible. And I feel like, why would you take the Brig with an Ana or a Baptiste or a Moira? You just would take the Zen or the Lucio. You just wouldn't even look at the Brig.
Yes.
It's really weird. Like, I don't think she does enough healing.
I think Brig is very specific to team comps where, and this is going to sound weird to some people, but stick with me on this. She's going to work in team comps where healing doesn't matter. Stuff like very aggressive dives, or when your team is being very aggressively dove. So the supports are like getting completely hammered. Then you might bring out a Brig because she's very good at like that instantaneous spot healing. She can still rally people, give people extra armor. She can still stun people, knock people away. She's very good at that. But she's
she
no
was
longer
supposed to be the anti-dive support, wasn't she? That was her initial.
And I think that's kind of what she does. But if you're just stuck in like longer fights, protracted fights, then to me at least, I feel like I run low on healing. I feel like I have the 3 repair packs, and then maybe like I can whip shot some people, but I still have that feeling of I don't do enough healing here. What should I be doing? Where should I be going? And so I'm not a Brig main. Maybe some Brig mains find it better. I've seen some people say they have a lot of success with a new Brig. It's difficult to know where it lands, but I think like in terms of her play rate, no more goats is going to be less Brig. Like that's just how it's going to go.
Okay, Lucio, what do we think?
Definitely could be making a comeback. Like Zenyatta kind of stole the show completely from Lucio, it feels like. Even on like Control Point, it feels like people tend to favor the Zen. Lucio kind of faded to the background, only came out for stuff like Well or Night Market, where you can boot people around and do all that cool stuff. But I think Lucio can come back, especially like Winston Diva, Dive, Tracer, stuff like that all can come back in, and then you can maybe get some stuff going with him. So I'd say a winner overall.
Well, the thing I guess with Lucio is because we're in the 2-2-2 world, you've got your main support, and then your main healer. Then you've got like your Zen or your Lucio. Your Zen just gives you more, and they've both. Well, Zen's ultimate is better, so and they do the same thing. They're both defensive support ultimate. So, taking the Lucio to me is like you'd have to have a specific comp where you like I said, it was some sort of heavy dive comp, or you just were an exceptional Lucio player, or it was a Lucio map like Ilios Well or something like that. I just don't. I think Zen is just too good. But then maybe I'm just saying that because I like Zen. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. All right, let's move on to Mercy because I still think Blizzard need to do something with Mercy. She still doesn't feel impactful enough. Like her ultimate to me needs to be something more interesting.
She needs more things to do. Like when people were getting angry about the Moira changes, don't worry, I was getting angry about it too, and I play a lot of Moira.
Oh, I got angry. I made an entire video going, what the hell is this?
Like Mercy kind of suffers from the same problem. Like
although
Mercy's very balanced.
That, though.
Yeah, Mercy's very balanced, but she doesn't have like great ways to differentiate her from other Mercy players. Like you don't have those standout moments. You don't also have ways of like making yourself feel like, oh well, I'm doing this thing, and that's the cool thing that I know how to do very well. She has like some exploits that basically make her function as well, like the sort of the weird jump thing that you can do. I'm not very good at it. I'm not a very good Mercy myself. I think she's a winner in terms of, hey, Widowmaker's back, and Mercy and Widowmaker, well, they're a great pairing together, so hey, have those two again. Resurrect is going to be more useful now because, hey, there's going to be more picks due to more Widows, due to more Hanzos, stuff like that, so she's a winner in that sense, but I think she is one of those heroes that Blizzard just need to, I don't know, tune up a little bit, make her a little bit more interesting and exciting, and then go from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think she is a winner. I do agree with that. But not, like it's not like she's won the lottery. She's just, she's okay. If you've got Mercy on your team, it's fine. You're not like, oh my God, I've got a Mercy. It'll be okay. Moira then. So Moira, she had the ridiculous fade buff on the PTR, which has now been reverted because the devs were like, hey, Moira needs more utility. So we're just going to enable her to escape everything in the game. And and then they realized this is actually a bit stupid. So they went back on it. Now, obviously, there was a billion YouTube videos on this, probably a billion tweets, a billion posts on the forums, people going, what the hell is going on? Now, both me and Josh do like playing Moira. Moira has an exceptional talent as a support in which you can carry games. You can basically, like, from, I don't know, I mean, God, I've not played in Platinum. Well, I don't think I've ever played. That sounds like a massive cock comment. I've not played in Platinum, but like from the lower ranks up to, oh well, hell, I get a lot of success with her in Master. You can do a lot with her, and when you've got Tracer coming back, you've got Genji coming back. Well, your Moira, she can look after herself, so she's actually quite good. She does suffer a little bit because she doesn't have this massive ball of tanks, which she did with Goats. But Moira Goats,
literally the only reason
and,
why I don't play more Moira is because Genji players go, why don't you play Ana? I need nano boost. Literally the only reason why I don't play more Moira. She is extremely good. She's only going to be better with 222 because she can make people survive. Like, the reason why Moira was so good in Goats was because she could beat DPS comps. And now people are going to be playing more DPS and she can just out-heal everything. And that's Moira's strength. And I think she's
she can look after
winner.
herself. This is the big thing we have to realize here. Moira is a very self-sufficient support. And she's really cool to play as well. Zen then, the final one on the list. I mean, Zen always wins. Zen never loses. Zen only loses if Blizzard decide to get rid of Discord or...
Yep. Or give him 150 hit points again, and then maybe he loses then. Perhaps. Probably not still.
Oh my God, Zen.
He's just really good. Like, if the enemy has a really, really good Sombra, or, like, maybe that's kind of when you stop playing him, but there are very, very few occasions when picking Zenyatta is a bad choice. There's going to be fewer tanks for Discord. There might be a few more Genjis and Tracers around, so he might lose in that sense, but he is still extremely good, and I'll be surprised to see him if he drops out of the meta in a big way.
So there you go, guys. That wraps up a very in-depth look there at all of the heroes on the current roster and who wins and who loses with the brand new 2-2 meta. It is a completely new world out there, brave new world, and it's a better world. It's a much more structured world, and lo and behold, when we're given a framework, we can start to be very creative, ladies and gentlemen. It's beautiful. All right, guys, I've been Stylosa. This has been Unit Lost. If you guys enjoyed the video, then, well, you can like the video. Remember, if you sub to the channel, click the bell because you'll get alerted to when the videos go live, and you can find Josh on...
you can find me on twitch.tv/oneamongstmany.tv and on YouTube at One Amongst Many.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.
Bye.